What is up? Welcome back to another video episode of the news. It is Monday. It is Monday. It is Monday.
Wrong call.
Monday. So let's get into the news. Welcome back to another episode of the news, and we have so much to get into today, but quick shout out to the members. Remember, if you join the channel, access to exclusive content, early access to other content, and that shout out at the beginning of the video. You also have the ability to vote on upcoming reviews, so join the channel if you want access to those perks. If not, just like this video, subscribe to the channel. That support helps all the same. Beginning, of course, with Harman and their special secret announcement. I had a couple people reach out to me privately and confirm my suspicions. Of course, a couple days later, they confirmed those suspicions as well, announcing their release of Harman Red in 120. So it is Phoenix in 120, flipped around. So it's Redscale film. I did a video on the 35mm version, and I was going to shoot Phoenix. I was going to flip a 120 roll around, but I just didn't really want to buy a roll of it, so I didn't. But that would have been really smart of me to do that months prior to them releasing it, but I'm not going to get too hung up on it. If you're interested in medium format Redscale film that looks like Harman Phoenix, help yourself. If you, however, want a more traditional kind of film feel, you can go with the new Leica Monopan 50 film, which is a new black and white film. I'm doing air quotes in my head. That is being released. To celebrate the Centennial of the Leica 1, they've decided for the first time to release their own film. Now, not much is known about this film, except that it is a black and white 50-speed film that's produced in Germany. But even with that information, there were some sleuths on the internet that were able to piece it together and come to a pretty convincing conclusion that it might just be repackaged Adox 50HR film, which retails for around $10 a roll. Makes sense. The Leica 50 monochrome 50 film is also going to be about $10 a roll, so you don't have to pay extra for the Leica branding. You can buy the Adox film. They should be about the same. I will link both of the technical specification PDFs down below if you want to check it out. The little graph thing looked kind of similar to me, and people that are much smarter than I am made the connection, so I'm going to take their word for it. But still, it is a cool new product from Leica. It's got a lot of people excited, but not as excited as their events that they've been putting on to celebrate the Centennial. They released a video about it, showing a lot of collaborators of Leica, showing a lot of people with their cameras and talking about how important the Leica brand is. I think it does a really good job to kind of draw you into a bit of a world and really add some importance to the Leica branding. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. As per my recent review on the Pentax 17, that's kind of something I wish they would have done a bit more of, harken back to the brand that was, and play more into how important bringing out a new and unique film camera in 2024 would have been. I feel like that ball kind of got dropped, but we can agree to disagree. The Leica video is very cool, and I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested. Speaking of new film cameras that came out in 2024, we have an update from Mint, the people behind the Rollei 35AF project. They posted something on their blog June 20th, I believe, so just a couple of days ago. I won't read it verbatim, but I'll just give you the cliff notes here. Filled all pre-orders. They did mention Portland, so shout outs us. They also addressed the fact they're on their 5th production batch. Small team, they've been working tirelessly to get this done. The important things came in bold on this text, so it's pretty easy to read, but thank you. The orders came like a tidal wave, 5th production batch, and we are just getting started. Now, whether that is we're just getting started with this project, or whether this is we just got started with that project, we're going to move on to another one, who's to say? I'm interested to see where it goes. I would like to see a bit more about the Rollei 35AF. If they have fulfilled their pre-orders, I might know somebody who has one that I could get my hands on. But if you have an experience with the Rollei 35AF, please leave a comment down below. I'm sure others would love to hear it. It was just kind of nice to hear from them because it's been kind of radio silent for the past year thereabouts. I believe their last blog post was in August, and outside of a few rumblings here and there, it feels like the hype on this product has really died down, but hearing from them again is pretty interesting. Conveniently right after I made a video about it. But anyway, moving on to something that has also died down quite a bit, and that is the David Lynch auction. Now, this closed on the 18th of June, but I just wanted to give some updates. It looks like everything's sold. The Scoopix 16 millimeter camera sold for $16,250. The Sony A7R, A7S cameras sold for $9,100. The 5D sold for $65,000. And then the one that everybody was asking about, really wanting to know, the Montana Luxus snakeskin camera sold for $19,500, which is bonkers. And then the Leica R6 sold for $29,250, which I would venture to guess is probably the most expensive Leica R6 that has ever been sold. Very funny because the Hasselblad H3D with the case and everything only sold for $91,000, which is a lot of money, but in comparison to like the other things that were, sold for, it's not that much. A fog machine that sold for like $3,000. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, so thought I would give an update on that. We'll move on to, I guess, more film. I probably could have done a bit better job sequencing these things up, but Optik Old School, their 200 color film, which is Orwo NC200, was released in 120, and now they have it being released in 35 millimeter. On their website, I believe it's still listed as like pre-production, sample sales, or something like that. But they're both being sold for $12, 12 euros, or $12. I think it's like 9.99 euros or something, which equates to $12. Not entirely sure, but if you're interested in checking that out, it's available on the website, linked down below. Reflx Labs has posted a blog post confirming what we kind of knew given a couple of weeks ago. The information I received, which is Lucky Color Film, is positioned to launch in July. That is, of course, their 200 speed color film with what appears to be evidence of it here. I will say the detail looks great. The color rendition looks pretty nice. It looks very flat, so it doesn't have any of the kind of warmth of a gold. It doesn't have any of like the oversaturation of a Color Plus. It almost looks like a better version of an Orwo kind of film, but it does look like you can do a little bit to kind of crunch the shadows, maybe pull the highlights down a little bit more if you want to, and up the saturation, which I think is a good look overall. Pretty impressed. Now, something that they mentioned in this article is, of course, they're having a hard time coming up with a name. This is according to a contact that Reflx has in the Lucky Film group. Listen, if you're having a tough time brainstorming, I will present to you the same option I gave to Light Lens Lab. Hit up my line. Let me tell you, I am so willing to sell out for the right amount of money. We could call this Bronco 200, Romptacular Color, Romping Bronco 200 color film, Lucky Bronco. That sounds kind of dope, am I right? I mean, Bronco Lucky, not as cool, but Lucky Bronco 200. Listen. Hit me up, please. You or Light Lens Lab, whichever one comes at me first with a decent dollar amount, I am happy to oblige, happy to give you a piece of this action. I just got a haircut, so I look extra marketable at this point. Shameless self-pitching aside, we still have some other news to get into, so we will jump into that. The Reveni Labs Lumo light meter is available for pre-order. I will link it down below. If you are in the market for a light meter, I cannot recommend that product enough. It is fantastic, and you should get your hands on it. Oh yeah, and then Echolens, the camera thing. That's the Kickstarter's launching tomorrow, I think June 24th. So I guess we'll do a quick recap very quickly. This might be out of order, but don't worry. Harman has launched their Redscale film in 120. Leica has launched a new 50 ASA black and white film. They also have a video commemorating the Leica 1 Centennial. Optik Old School has launched their 200 speed color film in 35mm, as well as 120 for about the same price, which I think is like €9 or $12 thereabouts. The Echolens Kickstarter is launching tomorrow. David Lynch auction results are finally in. Reveni Labs Lumo light meter is on pre-order. Reflx Labs has posted a blog post confirming the Lucky Color 200 being released in July. And Mint, the people behind the Rollei 35AF, posted a blog post talking about the success of the camera and teasing future projects or future support for the camera itself. So that's pretty much it for the news. There was a lot, as mentioned, a bit of a mouthful, but I think we got through it pretty cleanly. Questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear them. Remember, like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future news videos. Check out the Pentax 17 review I posted last week if you're curious as to that whole business. And I know I promised this last week, but I kind of ran into it with a bunch of editing, crunch lines, all this sort of stuff. But the colorful analog cameras collaboration will be done this week. But before it does, make sure to check her out on all the social medias. Give her some likes, give her some follows, show her some support. I'd appreciate that. She'd appreciate it. It'd be fantastic. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel again, and I'll catch you on the next one.